beautiful before and after, right? Where it doesn't look that much different. But you know what? That's what it's all about. Trying to add a little bit of fullness without changing too much of what your brows already are. I believe you should have the brows match your face, but it's also important to have it a little fuller, right? Because then that just keeps it looking youthful, just fresh and modern looking. And this video is also about trying to get them fuller and helping it to last using powder and a primer. That also helps in keeping the powder on longer, but also just shows off the powder much better. And I'm also going to show you how to bring in the brows a little bit more forward. It's hard to fill in the front of the eyebrows without making it look very unnatural. So you want to stick around in this video because I'm going to show you how to do the front to where it looks natural without looking overly done. So hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Jasmine, your brow expert. Today's video is really going to be about just some quick tips on how to lower your eyebrows. The model is Asian, so we tend to have eyebrow hair up higher and we over tweeze down below, so it just gets higher and higher. So for those of you that are not Asian and you have a lot of space on your eyelid, this is also a good video to show how you can lower that brow. And to get them a little fuller, maybe even straighter. Maybe some of you guys want the brows to be a little bit straighter. It's too curved. It's another really good video for you to look at. And also, most importantly, well, it's not the most important thing, but the brow, one of them is really far out. So I'm going to show you how to bring it forward and make it look as natural as possible. So, and by the way, I still shape eyebrows at the Anastasia Beverly Hills Salon. Some of you guys are new on this platform, so you guys don't know that, right? So now you do. I work in Beverly Hills, so please come by and get your brows shaped. Thank you for some of you that have trusted me with the eyebrows. It's been a pleasure meeting you and shaping your eyebrows. Okay, so let's get to the model and I will show you how to get her brows or your brows a little fuller. You guys ready? So she clearly has eyebrows, right? And it can be, it's actually fine right now. But she does want them fuller. And I told her because you're Asian, we tend to have a wider lid space and we over tweeze underneath where it gets higher and higher. We want to go a little lower because of all that space on the eyelid. So I'm creating this outline to show you how much fuller it can go. Just simply adding a little bit of color down below. You don't have to go this low, but just showing you and also her how low she can go. Now the front on this side of the eyebrow is too far in. It should have been further into the nose bridge. The other side is not as far out. This is the other area we tend to over tweeze sometimes or just lose hair. So it just gets further and further apart. We don't want that. Okay, so, and it's important for you to try this measurement simply because it helps in just knowing where to not tweeze. And you always hear me say pinch of the nose, which is right over here outside that nose bridge. Here's your nose bridge, right? It's just slightly outside. So, okay, so here's this white outline. I'm showing you this so that way you can see the difference in how wide the space is. So if I do go a little lower, it's kind of balanced with the rest of her face. You have to trust me on that one. But the white outline just really shows you how much space that is. And so by creating that little, and you notice that it's straight. Okay, so now I'm showing you an angle where I shape eyebrows, where I'm right behind the client. And you can see with this video, hopefully you can see it, that the hairs go straight down. So for us Asians, that is how it just grows. And so you can see how I'm just trimming the eyebrows very, very little. So I'm just gonna do this on myself, and you notice that I'm holding it. You could also use your other hand to balance, but I'm just simply trimming, going the opposite direction so it catches the hair. That's just a little side thing where you can try to do yourself. Okay, I don't encourage a lot of the trimming, but just so that you can see how straight down the hair grows. Now I'm using the brow primer because I am using the powder to fill in her eyebrows. And I'm also using the spoolie brush because it's really important once you put this on, because this primer has no color, but it has texture to it, right? And you don't want it to just be concentrated in one area. So you want to use a clean spoolie brush to spread the product out. So here's another important thing. If you've been subscribing, you know my videos, I'm almost always, not always, almost always applying highlighter first Now her eyebrow area, like right down here, was wax. So there's a lot of fuzz that was lifted out. So that area is very, very clean now. The only areas we don't have hair fuzz is on the palm of our hands and underneath our foot, right? So the highlighter just really glides right on. So right here, you can see that space. I'm going to use a really bright one. Hers was, I believe, base 2. It's a Pro Pencil. It's an eyeshadow base. But any highlighter stick or concealer for that matter, if you're really dry, try concealer. But I really like these little sticks. I'm just going to use a very, very bright one. So that way you can see the difference. If I just apply it underneath your eyebrows, my eyebrows, you can see that gap right there. So on her and on myself, I'm actually going to use the ash brown powder. Now, I think I'm gonna just go ahead and do the other side. I mean, I usually do one side, but today I'll just do both sides. But you can see that difference, right? Okay, so you notice that I went right in the middle of that straight line. That side of the eyebrow, remember, if you remember the outline, it the brows go further inside. So you want to go further into the nose bridge. So by making a little dot or a tiny little line right here in the middle of that straight line, or in the middle of your front eyebrow. If you just go right in the middle, it really does help. And as you can see with this outline, it's further in. It balances with your face. Trust me, if you have one side that's really far out, try this technique. When I say in the middle, I mean like literally right in the middle of that full eyebrow. Even if your brows are curved and you want to bring it forward, do a little dot or a little line right in the middle of that curved eyebrow. Okay, so it doesn't, obviously if it's straight up and down, it's a lot easier to just go right in the middle. But if your brows are curved, just focus on the middle. The reason why you want to just do a little dot in the middle right here is because it just, you'll see why in just a second, but it creates more of a natural look. So you notice now that I'm going above, now she obviously has hair up there. She doesn't need much color. Reason why I put color above the brow line there, it's it just gives it a more polished finished look. But when you add color up there, it actually expands a tiny bit. I don't want her top of the eyebrow just really flat and straight. Well, a little straight, because Asians, we need them a little straighter. But by just applying some color, and you notice it right on this eyebrow, I'm dragging the brush down and there's some color going inside that little gapped area. That's okay. I kind of purposely did that so that way you can see, or actually there's going to be color going down there. So it doesn't matter. You're going to correct that later, clean that up later, which is why this little stick is so important. Okay, so you notice that I'm going back to that eyebrow. Okay, so right over here, well, what I'm going to do is just go down. Now, notice how I'm holding the brush, which is why I always like to use myself as a model as well. I want you to see that by holding the brush this way, not this way, but laying it down and just dragging it down right at that brow line. Now, because my brows have been tattooed a long time ago, that's why my color is going to look different. Another reason why I have the model, right? Okay, so I'm just going down, 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 and right at the edge of the top area. Okay, so this time I'm grabbing the darker side of the ash brown. Earlier I grabbed that light side. So I'm grabbing the darker side because I'm mostly applying the color in that skin. She doesn't have hair. When you put dark color on top of hair, it will get darker. Okay, so when you put it on skin and there's hair above, especially hers, her hair is thick. Remember, I told you that the strands are thick, so it makes it look dark. So the darker color is just going to go right in here, right inside, and focusing. Now you notice I didn't create that outline to be much lower. That outline earlier was just to give you a visual idea as to how you should go a little lower. But you obviously can go as low as you want to go. It's makeup. You can erase it and see how much low you can go. Now with Asian eyebrows, you still want to keep it straight. You want to keep it in an angle. But if it's a little messy down below, that's okay. Again, we're going to correct that, clean that later. The most important thing is just getting the color on there. So, you know, just get the color on there. Now, on me, I'm going to hold the brush this way because I want to go right at the edge. If you want to hold it this way, that's okay. As long as the brush is in an angle. or laying down, as long as it's not hitting it head on. Because then you spray out the hair and it doesn't keep the brush sharp. So notice this area, I'm going in a circle. That is the brow that was too far out. And that little line, that's why it's important to create that little line or a dot. Because that little area right here, mine's gonna look so crazy here, is you're going these little circles, so that way you're pushing the brow forward, but just a little bit. I don't want that brow to go too far in. It's gonna look just artificial. So it's really about just circling, because when you create these little circles, it just gives that natural look. This side doesn't need as much. That's why I'm just going very lightly over the hair, not a lot of effort. But on that side where it was too far in, that's when you want to create that little effort or circle on that line. Okay, so you get the idea, right? So down over here, circle, and then down below here, don't worry about getting it messy. Remember, you have that highlighter first. It's like when you get your hair colored and they put that berry around, you know, that Vaseline-esque kind of product. So think of it that way. Okay, so I am putting it above the eyebrows. Those of you that have very light skin and have medium to light eyebrows or even dark eyebrows, but light skin, this is a perfect idea. Now, I'm not going to blend it in too much just so that you can have an idea what I mean. It really shows off the eyebrows. Makes it even look that much fuller. And you guys already know that the brush 18 is always coming out. Okay, so now the Brow Wiz pencil is important if you have those little gaps and the powder didn't quite cover it. You can always grab a pencil and just go in those little gaps. But I'm going to go back with the brush and just clean it up around here, clean up around here. And again, I just want you to look at the top of my eyebrow. That's why it's important. So light skin people, do that. Clear brow gel just really holds everything together, but it's not necessary when you have Asian eyebrows because we tend to not. Our hair just going to go straight down. The clear gel isn't going to stick it up, but it can make the brow hair look thicker. Look at this. How beautiful is this? And you know what? The reason why I like this before and after is that it isn't that much different than the first, but it's just lowering the eyebrows. And that is what I want you to take away today and this is really for anybody. If you don't have Asian eyebrows, you don't feel like you relate with this, but you have thin eyebrows and you look more wide-eyed, or you got a lot of space on your eyelid, and you're not Asian, this is also the perfect technique to just go a little lower. And you don't have to go straight. We Asians need a little bit straighter because it balances with our cheekbones and our wider face. But you just follow the natural curve of your own eyebrow and just go a tiny bit lower. It makes all the difference in the world, as you can see right here. So what do you guys think? Did you like this video? Did you feel like you learned something? I want to just quickly mention that on one of the videos, I talked about a new product, the new blush. I think it's called the Blurring Serum Blush Serum. Serum because it has some skincare products in it. But I showed you the guava, but today I'm wearing this along with the, I think it's the plum. I mix it. So it's been great because if you feel like this is not enough, use a darker one. But again, even the dark plum color goes on light if you blend it in. So I mix these two. I usually put the light one on first and I just dab a tiny bit, and just thought I'd mention that because I have been obsessed with wearing these two every day. And by the way, I did put a little bit of the plum, a tiny bit inside on my lip. You didn't notice that earlier, but because I forgot to put some on, because I always now put just a little bit of stain because I get ready really fast. But you know what? I kind of like this little stain look on my lip. Sometimes I don't want to put lip gloss or lipstick. So that's just a really good tip. I like my lips to just have a little color, and sometimes this just does it. So again, thank you for the comments. Please keep them coming. It does help me to get better. Please give me a like if you do like this video. And so I will see you next week.